Hi, I'm Christine Ray. I teach kindergarten at West Lincoln and Lincoln Public Schools. I started integrating iPads during my graduate coursework at the university. I was really interested in utilizing early childhood techniques and strategies and jumping into technology feet first and just taking it really head on and trying to see what early childhood children could do with technology and iPads. So the very first thing I had to do with integrating iPads was really think about classroom management. Particularly in kindergarten, the best thing that you can do for your instruction is to have management down first. So it took a lot of preparation, it took a lot of thinking, trying to decide what would work best for 5- and 6-year-olds, particularly with those who may have had experience with touchscreen interfaces and with those who have not seen it ever before. So it took a lot of thinking in terms of where would I want them to be placed, how would I want the students to be able to access them, how much guided instruction do they need from me, how much time am I going to allow them to use it independently, and what would that look like throughout the course of the year. The problem was I was spending a lot of my time trying to hunt for the right book, and I didn't have it right at my fingertips. Comparison with that with iPads, my readers have a choice of 4-leveled text. If they try a book and it's too hard for them and I'm recognizing right away it's too hard for them, in a couple of swipes we're able to quickly get a different leveled text that's much more on level for them. And the opposite side is that if it's a text that's too easy for the student, then just within a couple of swipes I'm able to get a book that's harder, a book that has more challenging pieces to it, and I don't have to leave group to go to the book room to find a text, or I'm not fumbling through all my materials trying to find a book that is a harder text level for students. So the ease of it for the teacher has made a lot more teaching time for me, so I can use that to teach the students and not have to worry about so much of running around to find materials. If their book is on the iPad, I'm still able to coach them to check the beginning sound, check the picture. If it's a word that they're trying to sound out, I'm able to double tap the screen and make the word larger for them to practice using some of their phonics skills to practice sounding out words and blending. Those pieces are still the same. For guided reading purposes, I always have started with my higher level students. I feel like they have a better foundation that they can use when they're trying to interact with the iPads. So for example, at the beginning of kindergarten, when lots of students are learning letters, learning how to write their name, my highest group of guided reading students normally come in with a big foundation of letters and sounds. They can usually write their whole first and last name. They have some background already on how to utilize the device. So those are the candidates that I start with first and get them going on it, and then they become the peer models and the leaders within the classroom. So then they in turn start to help the students who are ready to begin work with iPads. So I usually start with the highest group first, doing iPads at guided reading time. When we do word work and we're practicing spelling kindergarten words, or we're practicing spelling a new word that follows a phonics pattern, they're able to do that using the iPad with a chalkboard app or a whiteboard app, and traditionally students do it on a regular whiteboard or a regular chalkboard, so those pieces still remain the same. The difference would be kind of marker and whiteboard versus swiping it with your finger and drawing it with the touch. In order to introduce technology throughout different parts of the day, it takes some advanced planning from the teacher to decide what topics would be the best use of technology. For example, right now in writing, we are doing research, and research lends itself very well to using technology. Sometimes when we're working on things like 3-part stories, and I really want students to be writing paper pencil, I'm choosing that mode to not use technology with at that point, because I want them to have the ability to write with paper pencil and still be able to produce on paper. So it takes some planning from the teacher to decide which objectives would be the best use of technology and which ones still more traditional teaching techniques are better for. My advice for teachers who want to introduce technology in the classroom is to jump right in. Don't be afraid. Show students that you are learning too, that there's mistakes to be made, that there's errors that you can learn from, and I would say pick the area of the school day that's easiest for you. When I very first ever started introducing any kind of iPad work, I chose doing it at whole group time on the carpet. Students were used to me reading books to them there, and so I thought a very easy jump would be, how about reading a book on a device instead and showing it up using the projector and using Apple TV. So it was a very small switch between the teacher reading the big book to the device reading the big book, and from there things started getting easier. So I started trying new activities using the devices. Then I started trying to use it at other parts of the day, other curriculum parts of the day, like integrated studies or science or writing. The last piece to come for me was the guided reading. So I knew it could be done. I just needed to figure out how. And so this is the second year I've been doing guided reading on iPads, and every year it gets a little bit better. I learn a little bit more. So it's definitely a work in progress, but I think if you are interested in doing technology, you should jump right in. Don't be afraid.